America first means our interests first, but not alone. That is why, for example, on Ukraine, you can't say, we don't care about Ukraine. What happens to Ukraine is irrelevant. If you're a conservative, you cannot, as a Christian, you can't say that. As a conservative, you can't say that. We or the President Trump, wouldn't argue to deploy, the 101st to Ukraine. But why should Ukraine, for example, be important to America First conservatives? And I ask people, what would have happened in 1776 if Spain, the French, and the Dutch hadn't helped us? The French literally sent galleons of muskets and gunpowder, literally, because we were fighting the British. You're fighting the British? Okay, here's 20,000 muskets. If the Spanish and the Dutch hadn't bankrolled George Washington's troops, you would still be part of the British Commonwealth and you'd be speaking real English like me.
Yeah, right? So I say we'd have the same accent right now.
Right? No, seriously, this is not people forget less than 3% of the colonial American population fought the British. It was tiny. How did we do it? We couldn't have done it without the help of other countries. So my argument, for example, on Ukraine is invaded. That's wrong. They've got their 1776. We don't have to deploy troops on the ground, but we should help them fight for their independence as well. So America First means not America alone, but it is not interventionist. And the best examples, look at what we did when we were in the White House. And this is all declassified now. When we briefed the president that Assad in Syria is going to use chemical weapons again against civilians, when we briefed him that, he said, "Oh, really? Where's he deploying them from?" And we said, "Okay, this airbase, sir, in Syria." And he said, "Turn it into a sheet of glass." And if you remember that famous moment, it was occurring during the state visit of Xi Jinping of China, who in the middle of his chocolate cake at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump leans over and through the interpreter and says, "Hey, Xi, I just wanted to tell you, Assad was about to use chemical weapons, and I launched 52 cruise missiles onto that base and vaporized his chemical weapons." Just sending a message to Xi, to Putin, to Little Kim. We're not going to invade Syria, but you cross a line like chemical weapons against civilians, we're going to come down on you like the hammers of hell. Mm-hmm. Another example. We found out, everybody's an expert on the Wagner Group now, but
Sure.
The Wagner Group has been around for a long time. They had 300 guys in the Middle East who were running around causing trouble and helping out Putin. When we briefed President Trump that there's 300 Russian special forces destabilizing the Middle East, again, he didn't say, "Okay, deploy people, tank regiments." No, he said, he ordered Mattis, "Jim, kill them now." In 4 hours, our guys, JSOC and others, turned those Russian troops into red mist. Now, put that into perspective. No president, not even Reagan, no president since the October Revolution of 1917 has killed hundreds of Russian SF in one day. Only our boss, because he knew 4 hours of applied strategic force is how you deal with these kinds of threats. And you know what's interesting? Do you know what Putin's response was to 300 of his guys being creamed? Nothing. He didn't even hold a press conference because he was afraid of us. People ask me in the White House, "So what's the president's national security vision?" You know what I did? I stole a motto from the Marines. You want to know what the president's international global political philosophy is? Very easy. America, no better friend, no worse enemy.
Yeah.
To our friends like Israel, we're going to be your friend. We're going to help you out if you need it. To our enemies like Iran, we're going to put you on your knees.
You said something very important earlier. You talked about Nick
Pratt. Yeah.
Nick Pratt. Yeah, you talked about his realization of the human intelligence network, of networks fighting networks, and that's so important because you could see different administrations have built that up. And then another administration comes in and tears it down, which takes decades to rebuild. And how President Trump would know these things, how a president would know where chemical weapons could be launched from is a human network on the ground because all the technology, Star Wars and satellites, you can't see inside of rooms, behind doors, in hidden places. And his human intelligence networks are so important.
Remember before we came into the White House, what they said about him? He's a warmonger. He's going to start World War III. For 4 years. We had no new wars. None.
While eliminating our enemies.
So let me give full credit here. It was Steve Bannon came up with the phrase, the physical caliphate of ISIS, when we were in the White House. I don't know if people remember this. Go back, fact check me. You don't have to take my word for it. Obama, when he was president, when ISIS rose out of the ashes of Al-Qaeda, he said, as they were decapitating Daniel Pearl, setting Jordanian fighter pilots alight in cages, Obama, as president, said, ISIS is a generational threat we just have to come to terms with. We just have to Americans getting beheaded, it's a Tuesday, right? You just have to get used to it. When we came in, the president said, no. And then Steve comes up with the phrase, physical caliphate of ISIS. We got the lawyers and the JAGs out of the way. We unleashed JSOC, we unleashed Delta and the tier one guys and the SMUs, and we said, take it down. The thing that we had been told was a generational threat we just had to live with. 5 months, it was gone.
Yes.
That's leadership. And we didn't stay there. We didn't occupy. We just turned it into a sheet of glass.
And at the end of that 5 months, even the Taliban would not touch American troops.
Well, to go back to the it's not humane, but it's cultural understanding. The president's story that he often tells at the rallies, he sits down with the leader of Taliban, and he says, here's a photograph of your home. And the leader says, why do you have that? Because I know where you live. Now, that's like a mean tweet. Ooh, it's scary. He's saying he's going to kill that guy and blow up his home. Well, guess what? The Taliban didn't kill one American serviceman for the 18 months before we left office.
That's right.
Because we said, we know where you live.
Saved billions of dollars.
With a photograph! With a photograph!
Yeah. Hey guys, 10 years ago, I had found myself in a position to where investing in Mighty Oaks and all the different things I'm involved in, I had found myself not prepared for retirement. And I went to my friend Ryan Wheelis at Allied Wealth. I'm so happy with the results from me that I asked him to partner with this show, and he is a partner of this show now. So if you're like me and you need someone to help you with your retirement, with your investments, with just your overall wealth management, go to alliedwealth.com and meet Ryan and his team to get you set up.